Welcome to my channel. This is part 5 in a 5-part series on drafting a pattern for an 1810s muslin dress based on an extant garment in the V&A Collection. In this section, we will render the dress with custom graphic, buttonhole, fabric, and top stitch properties. Let's get started. All right, before I do anything with this tutorial, I just want to make sure that my dress has been simulated at a resolution setting that I'm happy with. So it was at high res garment and everything's laying fine and we're happy with how it looks. Then I can go to File, Open, Pose, alternatively Control-Shift-P, navigate to wherever on your computer you've downloaded the files from my Patreon for this tutorial, and go ahead and click the 1810s muslin dress pose, open. When this window pops up, you can go ahead and keep pose only, maintain avatar size. We want the full body, and then maintain current shoe pose. Also, let's go ahead and align the bottom to the ground. Go ahead and click OK. All right, close simulated the dress just enough to move it with the pose. If you want to make any other adjustments, you're welcome to go ahead and simulate now. I recommend actually, I'm going to simulate the skirt just a little bit, but I'm going to freeze the top because it's laying really nicely. And so that it doesn't mess anything up there, it doesn't slip off the shoulders, and I'm just now pressing space to simulate the skirt. Once you like how everything looks, go ahead and, activate everything again. And we can go ahead and move to the next step, which is to apply the graphics. But I realized that this center front panel, in previous tutorials, I actually should have had you merge it so that the graphic can go straight across the front here. So let's go ahead and go to the Edit Pattern tool, or the Z hotkey, and that's right here in the 2D toolbar. Just right click either side of the center front and then choose Merge. And that will go ahead and keep that symmetric editing, but now they are one piece. Great, now we can go ahead and apply the embroidery. So all of this on the skirt, the sleeve, and all on the bands. So to do that, let's go ahead and grab this tool right over here, the Graphic 2D Pattern tool. And when you click that, a window will pop up where you can go ahead and select your trim pattern that is available on my Patreon. So go ahead and navigate to where you saved that, 1810s muslin dress trim. Go ahead and open. And now it says click on a pattern to add graphic, and we're just going to click on either side of the skirt. When you click there, it gives you this pop-up window, and we're actually going to change the scale of this graphic. I did not make it perfectly to scale, so let's go ahead and type in the width of the skirt, so 75.5. And I want to unlink the proportions by clicking this little unlink button right here. And then for the height, I want to type in 47.25 and then go ahead and click OK. Once that's done, it'll actually automatically switch the tool to this tool right here, the Transform Graphic tool. And you can go ahead and click and drag this to line it up on the pattern piece. And I like to kind of line up the bottom with that internal line there. And then the width should be exact, so you can go ahead and line that up. And that looks good. Once you like how it looks, go ahead and right click that pattern and then choose Duplicate to Symmetric Pattern. I know that this doesn't quite follow the train here exactly, but I didn't want to make the graphics so that it did that because in case your pattern's different, I wanted it to just be, versatile. So that can be a different tutorial on how to make that pattern follow that curve. Great. Once we've done this, we like the scale that this pattern is. So instead of importing that pattern again, that trim graphic, let's go ahead and just with the Transform Graphic tool, just select that graphic and then do Control or Command C and then Control or Command V. And then it says, okay, you want to copy this. What pattern do you want to copy it to? And you can go ahead and click the sleeve here and that'll copy it to the sleeve. And once it's on the sleeve, you can go ahead and click and drag and move that around based on your reference. And once you like it, you can go ahead and right click and then choose Duplicate to Symmetric Pattern. All right, so to apply the embroidery to the band front, it's going to be the same trim piece, but we're going to use a different scale. So grab the Graphic 2D Pattern tool and then find your trim again, that 1810s muslin dress _ trim, and then just click this center front pattern. This time for the width, we're going to make it 50, and we'll use the 50 for the height as well. Go ahead and click OK. And I know nothing is shown up here. It's because the trim that we want is actually the very top here, right here. And it looks like on my reference, there's like about 5 flowers going across the top. So I'm just going to kind of click and drag until those are centered. Again, once you put the graphic in, it automatically switches to this tool right over here, the transform graphic tool. So you can just keep moving forward that way. All right, and that trim is actually the right scale for all of these pieces that go around this, the band around the dress. So we can just do that same thing where we have the transform graphic tool selected. We click that graphic, we do Control Copy, and then Control, so that's Control C, and then Control V to the back, and my back is over here. Go ahead and click that piece. Again, nothing happened. It's because that graphic is at the very top. So I'm just going to go ahead and position that. Maybe like there. That looks good. And we'll go ahead and double check in the back to see if we like how that looks. I think I'll move it over a little bit. All right. Go ahead and right click then, duplicate to symmetric pattern. There we go. And then the same thing with the band. So clicking this piece right here, Control C, Control V, put on the band. This time we're going to click that pattern piece and this gizmo appears. We can go ahead and click and drag along here, holding Shift to rotate those flowers in the right direction. I think I actually looking at, yeah, they go this way. So go ahead and position those so they look nice on both the front and the back. Then right click and duplicate to symmetric pattern. All right, so one thing that we can do to make these look really nice and not like they're just stickers on top of the fabric is we can go over here to the object browser and hold Shift to click both of these, this 1810s muslin dress trim and this 1810s muslin dress trim. That will select all of the graphics in your window and their properties will appear in the property editor. Just go down to normal map and this, you can't really read it, but here it is. Use same map as fabric. Go ahead and click that to be on. Nothing will happen at first because we don't have a texture applied to the fabric, but once we do and it's rendered, it's going to look a little bit more realistic. All right, let's go ahead and edit these buttons in the back. We added these in the last tutorial, but they're not quite the style that we want them to be yet. To do that, we're going to go in the property editor. We're going to click button. And then I don't know why there's 2 buttons. We can delete that extra one. It won't let you delete these, by the way, unless they aren't being used. So you don't have to be worried that you're going to delete the wrong one. But with that selected, the properties for that button will appear in the property editor. And let's go ahead and do shape. Let's choose this button right here. If I hover over it, that's 2_shank button _4. Click that one, and that looks really nice, but that looks very large. Let's make that button 1/2 inch. So under width, I'm going to do 0.5. And let's also change the properties of how this looks. So under type, instead of fabric matte, let's make it like a little silk button. And so let's go to fabric silk satin. And for the color, let's go ahead and go here to color where it says FFFFFF. That just means white. Click that button. And in this window, the option to type in a specific color is right here. And let's type in F5EED6. And I'm actually going to copy that number for later. So just, Control or Command C, and then apply and close. All right, so that's our button. Look, they're very cute little pearl satin buttons now. And then we're going to edit the buttonhole. So up here in the object browser, go ahead and click buttonhole. And then I guess I'll just delete this extra buttonhole. This one right here, click default buttonhole. And then for the shape, we're going to click this drop-down menu. Let's go with this one right here, which is the buttonhole _radial. And type, width, let's go ahead and do 0.75. You always want your buttonhole to be bigger than your button so that it'll go through. Type, let's go ahead and change that to the fabric silk satin as well for maybe like a silk thread. Let's change the color to the same one. So under color, let's go ahead and click that and then just type in that same set of numbers. I just copied them so I can just paste them in here, that F5EED6, apply and close. One thing that's odd about these buttonholes is that they're going across and I want them to actually go up and down. So to do that, I actually want to go to the select move button tool. And I can just do Control or Command A to select all. And in the property editor, I can go ahead and type in an angle right here. And I'm just going to type in 90. And that's going to switch those to 90 degrees, which is what I want. Okay, great. Now we can go ahead and add some special fabric in. So again, in the object browser, just go to the fabric tab and then click fabric 1. And I have provided a special fabric on my Patreon. So if you have access to that, go ahead and click the open button right here, this folder right at the top. Navigate to where you've saved that fabric and then go ahead and click open. And that is a really nice sheer muslin, or I guess cotton voile, but I really feel like it looks like this period muslin fabric. Go ahead and go to the color now and you can type in that same color. So go ahead and click apply and close, and there you go. One thing I have noticed is that in this process, it looks like these like embroideries are like on the underlayer, like under here. And I think it's because actually, I have no idea. It could just be a glitch. But if that's happening to you, go ahead and just delete those clones. And then you can go ahead and select all of those pieces again and right click, layer clone under, and then put those up here. And that should ideally fix all of that. The simulation's a little weird because it's intersecting the body, but we're going to hide the body later, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. All right, let's go ahead and apply some top stitching now. We can see that in our reference, there is some top stitching along the bottom here and along the cuff there. So let's go ahead and go to the segment top stitch tool, also the K hotkey right here in the 2D toolbar. And all we have to do is just click this segment right here on this sleeve, and I'll add top stitch there, and the one on the hem here, and then of course the hem here as well. And that is adding it symmetrically to both sides. So you can see it's very fine, but there it is, and there it is on the hem. So once that top stitch is applied, we can go to the object browser and the top stitch tab, click default top stitch, and the properties for that will show in the property editor. For offset, you can see that it's, standing away from where we actually want it to be. So let's go ahead and change that from 1/16 to 0. This, in my reference, it looks like it's done, this stitch is done like really wide by hand with like an embroidery thread. So let's actually change the length to be much shorter. Let's go to SPI 8. So that will actually lengthen the stitch to make it a lower number. And then we want thick thread. So let's go ahead and do the text at 100. And then all the way down here for the color, if I just click there, let's go ahead and type in that green. You can type in the green, or I actually just kind of want to match this embroidery. So you can click this eyedropper and just click this darker green here, and that will do it. Press escape to get out of the eyedropper, and then click apply and close. All right, that's about it for the dress. Now we can go ahead and make sure that you are on thick textured surface. That is Alt or Option 1, that's the key command for that. And then let's go ahead and hide the avatar too. So that's right here in the 3D display options, show avatar. Just click that and hide her. And now she's hidden. Also Shift A will do that as well. And once that's done, we're ready to render. So just go up here in the menu at the very top, render, and then render again. You can go ahead and click here to start the interactive render. All right, that took a while because that's a lot for this to render on my computer, all that transparency and all of those layers. But we're just going to change a few settings here. So one under image video properties right here in the 2D toolbar. Let's go ahead and make that a larger image, so that 1920 by 1080, if your computer can handle it anyway. And then light properties right here in the 2D toolbar. I always think it's nice to just kind of change this to something maybe a little more custom. So Studio Vivid right here under the preset. That's a good one. You can go ahead and keep, making adjustments as you would like, but that's about it for this tutorial. Once you're done, go ahead and click the stop render button here, and then you can click final render here. All right, and that's all there is to it. You can go ahead and open the folder, find your file, and share it with all of your friends. Thanks for following along. If you got this far, everyone, please let me know if you have any follow-up questions in the comments. Again, all of the files for this tutorial are available on my Patreon. And looking back, if I think that I would probably take some more time to make this embroidery image a little bit better, like taking out some of these white spots, but I'm going to release a bonus tutorial in the coming weeks that will cover how to do that yourself if you would like to learn how to make graphics from extant garments. And with that, we'll see you next time.